Yeah, it's really great to be here tonight at the FinTech50. We're super excited to be on the list. It's the first ever FinTech list in Europe, and so to be on that list is a big thing for us because it is a recognition for what we're building. Last year we were already happy to be on the Hot 10 list, so we were here a year ago, and we got selected for the Hot 10, which was the next big 10 after the 50. And we are actually in the business of regulatory compliance, so we help companies to organize data, documents and processes in a regulated environment. So imagine that you are a bank, a fund manager, a fund administrator, an insurance company. You have to comply with a lot of regulations. The problem is that there's so much data, and this data is distributed across the organization. And to be honest, in most financial institutions today, it's sitting in spreadsheets, it's sitting in file systems, it's sitting in people's heads as well. So what we do is we centralize all the data to make sure that you actually can start making sense of it and that you can have a helicopter view of what's going on. And then once you know what all this data is, you can actually start structuring a process around it. And the process at all times gives you the information that you need to know at that time to perform your job. A lot of fintech companies and regtech companies, it was born out of my own frustration in dealing with regulatory compliance. So until the end of 2014, I was head of the depository activities at ABN AMRO. And I was actually in charge of ensuring that we knew at all times what our clients were doing. But we were doing exactly the same thing that everybody else does today still, is we were messing around with spreadsheets, we're trying to get data out of our core systems, and we couldn't. So I said, well, there must be a better way to do it. So I looked at Rob. We already were running a small app development business together. And I said, let's just create a prototype for this. So I have an idea in my head, so we started brainstorming around that. And when we realized that more people are dealing with the same problem, we actually said, oh, we could turn this into an actual business.
I think from a technology standpoint, I think the combination of flexibility and security and also being able to scale it up has been the biggest pitfall. So if you look at companies that are in a regulated space, they have all this data and they have all this regulation piling on top of each other. They have people struggling with it. So even if you come into a larger organization with a budget, the last thing they're looking for is a solution that is really difficult to implement. So even with larger companies, we have to provide them a solution that at least solves a certain problem for them, making the process more efficient and also freeing them up for the next step. So that means that you have to be able to start small but also scale out in terms of data structures, regulation changing, more people being added, scaling up from a couple of people in the solution to thousands of people worldwide. But that has to be combined with a system that is always up and running, that people can count on, that is performant and that is also secure, in where people always know every single piece of information in the system, where does it live and who has access to that under which circumstances. So I think the combination of those things are really the biggest challenges we faced. But by doing that, we ended up with a solution that is so flexible that we can implement it for a small company or for a larger company on a cluster of servers quite rapidly, and being able to continue serving them when the regulation changes.
And the flexibility is key, because when we go into clients, they typically know what is their generic problem. I have a problem with my board. I have a problem with my third-party due diligence. I have a problem with my data. But then we ask a couple more questions, and I say, what data do you have? They really have no clue. So the flexibility of what we do also allows us to start with a very small defined scope and say, fix this problem first and then move on to the next. So you need to have something that can grow with the client as well. The team is now 21 people. So half of that is in Luxembourg, half of that is in the Netherlands. So as a CEO, I lead the business development team, and the client support and the development teams are with Rob. So it's a quite good fit. As You have to be able to count on your co-founder, and in this case, my co-founder is my twin brother. So we can rest assured that the other person will do what's right. And what we try to also get as a culture in the people is that we really want people to take ownership, to be very serious and very dedicated to our clients. But we also want to make sure that we're having fun together and that we enjoy what we're doing. That it's an engaging environment, and also software developers, for example.
Software developers are different kind of people, so you need to also have a culture that gets them in the door, but also doesn't have them running out. So you have to have a culture where you have sufficient challenges for them. Being able, of course, to offer them working places that is nice to work in, but also working with them in the most efficient way. That's for them the best way to do it. So sometimes our developers come in at 11 o'clock in the morning, but you know that they will not stop in the evening until the job is done. So I think to be able to build a company and a culture with people working in different areas, you have to really understand what their motivating factors are and be able to supply that.
It's a funny story actually. My brother came into the office one day, and normally the developers are not really early wakers, so they come in later in the day. And they were already there at 9 o'clock, and he said, "Oh, you guys are already at the office?" And they said, "No, we're still at the office." So they pulled 24 hours because they decided that they wanted to build a feature and they wanted to get it done. And so they just they keep going until they have it done.